Hello, everyone. Welcome to watching our show that is embracing your design for midlife transformation. And the tagline is Come Alive to Impact More Lives. So today we have our guest, Simona. And
Hello.
she original from Germany, but now she's in places wherever she chooses to go. So this is my honor to have guest Simona. She is a life coach, particularly helping women in transition in the mid-age. And I want to let her to share about her specialty, how she helps with women has some menopause issue. Simona.
Yeah. So I have learned intuitively from the beginning. So the good thing is that I had an intuitive granny. So I was encouraged. So I've never had this upbringing of being weird or something like that about being, I like to call it intuitive. It's very intuitive. And so it was always like the whole village, even when I was a kid, they would always ask me for my opinion. And it was just like such a privilege to have people much older than me come and just sit with me or my granny. And so it's just like, and then I realized later on in life, you need a certificate to do this, right? So what certificate can I possibly get to kind of give me an insurance to do what I do? So I studied yoga therapy and Ayurveda. And it's super handy. It's really good. Don't get me wrong. But I really like the Ayurveda where you go to a proper doctor and you don't just get like an one out of three kind of like options. You get like your blueprint, your uniqueness. Your body gets translated into practices that bring you back into balance when you're out of balance. And I kind of like do that with yoga, with mindset, breath work. So there isn't one fits all at all. And especially in menopause, it's all about finding your uniqueness, your authenticity. And rather than me being the psychic and telling you what to do, my specialty is igniting your inner wisdom so that you can hear you. We lower the noise and we just tune in how you feel when you're following your divine light. And that is really, I can't believe I get paid for this. It's so good. Like I get love letters from the husbands of, oh my God, you've just given me a whole new wife. One,
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
one I can
Mhm.
grow old with. So because, we lose our way when we have children and we just need to find it again. And the loss of estrogen is a blessing. It's not a curse, but we need to.
Yes. And that's how I saw you actually has this real that is the reclaim energetically aligned lifestyle. I
Yeah.
totally align with that. Like, if we are all real, aligned, and reclaim just to agree about like that's who we are, accept all things about ourselves. And that is such a beautiful lifestyle.
Yes.
And we are talking about embracing our design for midlife transformation, and basically the conversation along with the human design system. And one part of human design system I really get deeper is the gene keys, because that relate to my heritage is the ancient I Ching, the hexagram. So
Mhm.
I kind of study both way, the ancient text in Chinese and the human design system. I believe I remember that, just like all this activation around this time. I believe more and more people start to remember who they were, what they're doing, and all this energetic alignment start to showing up. And that is just so exciting. That's how I start to have this conversation. And Simona, you are amazing Manifestor. You are my first guest whose profile is Manifestor, because you know human design. Maybe you can share with us the differences between other kind of energy people, but you are the Manifestor.
Yeah. So I'm fantastic at rubbing people the wrong way. So it's like second to none, right? But I've made it my job because when I trigger you, it's something we can release. So it's okay. So I'm very much initiator. I initiate change very much, and I do manifest, and I always have. Like, I've manifested my dream house at the beach in Croatia without having had any money to buy it.
Wow.
It's just if I want it, I can get it. I'm just not very material. So, but that's good. Like, my retirement home is paid off, so that's good enough for me. And I love giving money away. I love giving time away and money away. But it's like my partner, who's a generator, he just thinks I'm made of fairy dust. It's just like, oh my God, that just happened. I can't believe how that happened. On the other hand side, when we're kind of like in a little bit of a struggle in our relationship, and I get really bossy when I get stressed, because I can see everything that other people can't see. I can see the dynamic of our relationship. I can see the energy of my children. I can see the energy of my food and my neighborhood. It's slightly overwhelming, to say the least. So that's why I need to have a real grounding practice. If I would just be in a kick-ass job, which I did have at some point, I don't think I would have to take drugs, I think, to be able to survive.
Yeah.
So it is magical, but it's also a little bit lonely.
You can see the past, that is not right for that person, but you want to warn them, but at the same time, they are not ready to hear the truth.
No.
Right.
It's not, why are they not listening to themselves? I barely ever get angry for people not listening to me. Why would they listen to me? But like, if someone says, these are my values, this is what I live by, and then they don't, and I live with them, that is upsetting, to say the least, because I know they are not living their full potential. It's not about pleasing me. It's about do your thing,
We can all live with ourselves, and nothing we can be angry at, right? It's just like, we living our truths, and everybody living their truths, and someone like Simone can see the energy, they all align. Now, who's not going to be happy?
And there is no comparison anymore. If everyone is themselves because everyone else is already taken, we can totally let go of comparison. There is no, we are all different. And that's really what I made my job, is that beautiful inquiry into your unique being. Yes, and that is so nice.
It's really beautiful said. We want to have a more conversation like this. And I think the Manifestor difference between majority of the population are generators, and generator has this powerful sacral engine in our body. But the reflector, projector, Manifestors, they are not have this defined sacral center. So the dilemma is, if most of a generator are not happy, they have this frustration energy emitted out from their aura, right? Then people like you maybe just take it in and amplify it, become even more frustrated. So I wonder, is any experience or story you experience, you mentioned about your husband's generator, but when you're growing up, do you have that like emotion boost or the energy, you just don't know where it comes from? Would you like to share some stories like that?
Yeah, it's really funny how I'm not a therapist, but I was like primary one, right? My teachers sussed me out from the beginning. Like, it took them maybe 2 months, and they put me next to the one that was disturbed. Every time, if someone had childhood trauma, got abused at home, or, you could guarantee that I would be put next to that person by instinct, by my teachers, I guess. So I became, from a very young age, a therapist. Like, I've had, towards the end of primary school, a suicidalizing person next to me. and I wrote a book on suicide prevention because it's kind of like I draw in people that look for answers. And because they feel in my presence, they feel better when they leave. But I feel right. So it's just like fantastic hanging with me. You'll feel great and I will be ill. And that's why I don't see yoga it's not a discipline. I don't know how I would survive without my spiritual practice. I would have cancer or something because I pick up so much. If I don't have a clearing practice, I think it would go really wrong. So it's less like everyone's like, whoa, you get up every morning and do yoga. Whoa, you do like meditation every night. It's like, well, watch me if I don't. I've tried it not to. So it's kind of like, how other people, I don't need to eat if I don't want to. I can not eat if I don't want to, but I cannot skim from my spiritual practice.
Yeah. So that means like from a very young age, you already know something. You need to be grounded yourself. You need to be peace whenever you got a chance. And is that your granny teach you how to do a certain way to do that practice, or you just pick it up?
Yeah, so I grew up on a farm, so we're with the hands in the earth a lot. And my granny always worked with the moon, because it was an ecological farm. So it was just being earth connected, which and it's really nice. Later on in life, one of my gurus who was really proper said one thing: only Mother Earth can turn shit into fertilizer.
Wow, exactly.
So that
and
letting
the bacteria too.
getting your hands in the soil, being outside is very much my antidote. Hugging trees, I've been seen hugging trees. So that goes quick. And I love Scotland, where I live. I either live in Croatia or in Scotland. Scotland is a rainy yin side of my life, and Croatia is a hot yang side of my life. Perfect balance. And Scotland is so rich and like the energy here is just pure heart center. You can feel, like I can feel it. Like it's just being just outside of the city. I can get aligned very quickly.
One of the dilemma, like we live in big city like New York and Los Angeles, those places really everybody don't have a lot of space in between. And in my country too, Taiwan is like, gosh, the whole island is like you don't really have a way to get away from people. In that way, we are very confused, right? It's a lot of energy, a lot of emotions, particularly for people like us have open solar plexus centers. Do you feel like when you go to the big city, it's a big difference than living in the country or the farm? Have you?
I avoid big cities. I don't.
Oh, you don't even dare want to get in.
So my son wishes, because we're only like 20 minutes away from a pretty big city, but we never go there, or I avoid going there. So my son wished for this weekend to go to like the city. And it's like, oh, really? So I will need to kind of like put my Gore-Tex jumpsuit on, my energetic armor, to go into a shopping mall, which is like my idea of a nightmare.
Kind of curious, you don't need to answer it. It's just what kind of episode you will experience if you don't doing that daily practice to clean.
Well, I get drained. I have very little energy. I can't generate. It feels like I can't it feels like, how you can have batteries that you put into a charger.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm upside down and put into the charger, and that nothing I do fills me up. So my meditation practice and my yoga practice is me putting me into the charger properly. I can run for a bit without extra charge because it's a rechargeable battery. So I don't need to be like plugged in all the time. And I can travel through big cities and things like that. But I do need to make sure that I plug in after. But when I'm spirit guided, I don't need to sleep and I don't need to eat. I get a source of energy that's different. Like I wrote several books and they get written in, like I wrote like one 80-page book on the enriching Ramadan. I know nothing about the Ramadan. I'm not even Muslim, but it's a great book. And I wrote it in 4 days with about 8 hours sleep in 4 days and barely any food. But I was neither hungry nor tired. Then I need self-care. Then I need to get into nature. Then I need to make sure I have a break. So I can't run forever.
If we have open centers and we have our live episodes, the more we go through our own trouble, then we become more skillful. Then you become master, can really help others to lead out their trauma because they might not aware. But since you live with such a young age, you make a friend with the challenges or opportunity, but you know how to dance with it, right? Just flow with it, don't against it. You need to sleep, don't go to big city. I know my boundary, I don't need to go there all the time, right? So that's the wisdom you built.
Yeah. But it's also that, like, I got several diagnoses by doctors in my life that I shouldn't have survived and I should not have been able to have children, yet I only made love and I had two wonderful sons, even though apparently my apparatus were like non-functioning. So I don't really believe in limits, really, truly. When people say limitlessness, they don't really know what they're talking about quite often. But I really feel limit. I know that I am my only limit. I've transcended it so many times. Like I have a good track record.
That is so powerful. For me, when I get involved with human design system and also the gene keys and ancient I Ching, I start to realize this is the language. Tell us in the modern lifestyle people, you are limitless. You can really transcending a lot of things like stress, struggle, distractions, dishonesty, all this humanity in a way, because we all have both. We have this divinity and humility all around in our DNA, but sometimes we just don't believe that, right? We don't want to go to the woo side. People just start labeling us. For me, my journey is like, why not? I have the science degree, I think, I know DNA, I clone genetically, but the more I gain to understand is that I'm missing the other whole side of the story. We only see one side. Most of us choose the shadow side, right? To see something's not good and all that. But the other side, then we can have a complete view about things. That's how I feel the human design is transforming in a way to open my eyes and to see something I didn't know. But I'm curious about you. How many years you start to knowing that human design system?
Only maybe like in COVID time. But I have other pointers. So my star sign, I was born on a new moon on the 1st of the 1st, 76. And like I got like a Vedic chart done, which is probably a few more years back. And it's like the circle with the lines through. You've probably seen it. And they're just random lines. I've seen many before, but mine doesn't look like that. Mine is rectangular, perfect rectangular, with a cross through it, which is a Scottish flag. And like I remember, like the person that printed it out for me, he's or used to be the advisor of the Norwegian crown. Like he's like really high up. And I was a +1 at his birthday. There's no such thing as a coincidence, right? And he had kidney problems, and I knew something about kidney problems. And he just looked me up and down. It's like, I don't take health advice from anyone that I don't know their sign, their chart. And I got like an assistant to kind of like take my details and to print out the chart. He nearly choked on his piece of cake. when he saw it. And he spent the rest of his birthday with me in a room. And it was just
Mm.
really, it's just like, it's just like, I've been doing this for, I don't know, 50 years plus. And he's never seen a chart like mine before. So I know it's kind of like I always knew I'm not normal. And it's
Why,
really,
actually, you are quite normal because you live with your design. Most of us
I
not.
know, but I'm not. Like, people at first glance, they might think I'm woo-woo, but when they actually work with me, they see I'm completely real and authentic. There's nothing woo-woo about me. I can see it. I can prove it. I can make you see it, So we're just, and it's so beautiful because when I learned like Reiki and all these things and Chinese meridians, chakras, that was all woo-woo when I studied. Well, now it's not woo-woo anymore. It's science. We have machines that can read it. I'm like a machine. I can read it.
Science never equal to technology because technology is outdated and we couldn't see the whole picture. And I think the ancient folks, when they are really relaxed, they all like counting and then look at the star. They enjoy the meal, homemade meal. They don't go to supermarket and all those kind of things. And then they connect with the real science. Right, that's the language I think we are trying to pick it up right now in the 21st century to get back to all the numbers, the alignments, all the frequency and sound. That's how the technology finally understand that side of the language, right?
Yeah. And it's amazing what's out there, like bioresonance machines that you can have that just sort out your energy, and they do. They really do. They work. But you need to actually do it, So sometimes I think if our brain would be like an app or like a game, like we would be much more successful as human species because we are so easy to be addicted to things like that. But it's so complex, but it's not really. It's really a game.
From your coaching with a woman with menopause, if they are not really align themselves, like you are talking about how to reclaim their energetic self, would you mind to share a little bit how you tap into their energy and start to them to take over?
It's actually much easier. It's not complicated, right? That's why I charge so much because you never have to see me again. I only need you for a month and you're sorted. So it's not like a year coaching program or something. It's a month, but I need your full attention. It is much easier doing it with me because I can ground rod you just in my presence. It's easy, but I try to take myself out as much as possible to empower you.
Yes.
I don't do anything to you. I guide you. Imagine that I'm like a little genie lamp or something. You don't need to rub me. No rubbing needed. You need to know what you wish for. And that's where the first thing goes wrong. People have no idea what to ask for. So I have like a program called Wish, which some people need to do before we do the real, because they don't really know. They have lost the trust with themselves, the self-love, the joy. Well, you can't do a real program with me if you don't have like the base foundation. But I can get the base foundation with you as well. So the real program is a real commitment. And you need to already understand that there is such a thing as a divine energy within you. I can work with any religion as long as there's something greater, higher than you. And that higher is to me like light. For some people, they can perceive it differently. So if you imagine your life is a mess and it's just built up in front of you and you feel like you're like in its shadow, it's bigger than you, you're small, and you're just in the shadow of the problem, right? So that basically means your divine light, like call it the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, right? You make that power, which creates everything, smaller than the problem. Otherwise, he would just put a little divine on there and the problem would go woof if you would believe that everything is energy. I believe everything's energy. Doesn't mean I don't have problems. But so what we do, we take this divine light or purpose or higher self where it belongs, which is right above you. So if you make the light small, like sunset, and you put the problem right in front of you, you look at it every day, you bang your head against it every day, you can't get out of the shadow. Yes. You cannot get out of the shadow because the light's behind, you're in darkness, you don't know how to do it. So all I do, I help you to move that light higher up. So your shadow becomes smaller and smaller. And the light actually fuels you. You become bigger and bigger like a plant because you're now nourishing and, all the chlorophyll going the right direction and everything. And we need to build your environment.
That's right.
We need to make sure your environment is okay. And that's, so you're trying to change your husband or your kids because their environment, well, it's not going to work. The environment is called, instead of environment, we call it environment. It's actually your inner, it's like you with you, your relationship with you first. And then the other relationships actually turn out quite well. But your beloved is there to drive you crazy. That's the whole purpose.
Yeah, because we need to using the skills. That if everything's perfect, we have nowhere to make it better.
It's important because we grow at our vulnerable edges. That's where the new growth is. So if you're not made vulnerable with another by another, there's also no growth. We just harden out.
Just kind of touch upon the inner authority and outer authority, right? We actually is the perfect outer authority for others because we can guide others, we can see others' problems. Sometimes we don't see ourselves because then that's the purpose for we to see others, then we can reflect back to our own. Yeah. But the inner authority for you, you are splenic, which is really intuitive. I think you perfectly use it like so many years. You are like master using it. And particularly the intuitive, when you let them to become your guidance, then definitely you align with the divine messages because the splenic that really connect to the whole environment, just like you say, environments and environment both, because they become the connector between the message from the top want you to go through you, and you can help other and using your outer authority to help others to tune their inner authority. So it's just the beautiful loops you are doing it. It's just amazing in you using all your design, all the energy flow, but also because you don't have a sacral, so you know the routine, how to protect yourself. Don't get to the points you really don't have anything for yourself, right? Because I think that is how we usually, in the big city, particularly in this busy lifestyle, we are programmed to be everybody else. Based on the energy interaction, we attract something we don't have, right? So if we want to be successful like that, that's because maybe we think we can be them. But when on this process to chase, then it's not really, that is not our success. Yeah, we need to just, like you said, go in to change our environments, make sure everything flowing nicely and boundary, connect with our inner authority, then life will be easy. But we make it complicated so much. Right?
And we pick a lot of other people's good ideas up and try to integrate them like puzzle pieces into our puzzle, but they don't fit. So it's just, so we get lost. We think we are a misfit. We are not the misfit. You're never a misfit. Never. You always fit you, but if you always try to be like others, then you will never fit you. And
Yes.
that's where people get lost. And menopause is an absolute blessing. If you would only know how cool menopause is. I did one speech. It's like, I think I will make it my TEDx talk, kind of like if I ever get there. And a man stood up afterwards. It's like, you know what? I'm now jealous that I don't have a menopause. It was like, well, that was a good talk then. It's magical. It's magical. It's so, and then we try to run away from it and try to take, I'm not against HRT when you need it, absolutely fine, but you can't run away from the lessons.
Yes.
However you want to get there doesn't really matter. But the lesson is there to take.
A lot of supplements and medicine really doesn't make sense. If they are not working on the energy level, they might have a temporary patching, try to slow down the problem, but the root cause is still there because the environment didn't change. The environment is still the same. I hear about a story. It's kind of nice to talk about, well, if you live in the neighborhood, you have a pile of trash, then you have a lot of rodents and flies and all of that, right? So the neighborhood decided to hire the people do the chemical and kill all the bugs and remove all the rodents. Then the users say, yeah, so we don't have problem, but the trash is still there. Then, maybe 2 weeks, everything go by and they have to hire something to do it again. I think this is the current way we're dealing with so-called the physical issue.
Yeah.
Because we don't change our environment and we're still not happy. We're still living with this limiting beliefs. Then, regardless, whatever you take, you didn't change the environment.
Exactly. So, and that's why I'm a great believer in Panchakarma and Ayurveda. It's a proper deep clean. You just clean everything out that doesn't belong there. They're fantastic at it. Just hand your body over and let them do whatever they need to do. And then you get guidance on how to maintain it best you can. But it's not like, it's like sin with fun, because you know how to bring yourself back again. You don't need it's not like, and not by far not everyone's as sensitive as I am. I get slapped right away if I do something silly, but it wasn't always the case either. But one thing is really interesting, reflecting on life. It's really important. I don't know if that's a manifestor thing. You need to choose your social work or like you're picking up the rubbish. You need to pick that really well.
Because I think it's a fun way to realize, like, generator a race to be Manifestor. We are taking initiative, we do things, and we are just frustrated because we are not supposed to really take a lot of initiative. We can choose to respond the request, but then we need to pause to respond. But think about how we raise, right? We are just like, get up, go to school, do this. And we just like, so we need to do this, we need to pass a test, we need to clean the room, all those initiatives. But then we are all frustrated because that is so confusing. Why do I need to do this? But for Manifestor is kind of they should take initiative, but then since they really cannot do a long haul with the energy, so they are actually taking initiative, and someone like the doer and the energy type of person can really take it to get it done. And that is the beautiful community, right? Like you say something because you got an insight, you're intuitive, that is the right thing to do. Then we respond and say, yes, we agree with then we go ahead to do it. And projector on the side just say, wait a minute, generator, you want too far now. I go back here a little bit, and they direct us to a beautiful dance. Then the reflector will be like, yay, get it done. So that is the beautiful world. I'm thinking if we really using human design system to deep understand our energy flow, how to dance with all the different type of energy people, and life can be so much fun. Like, that is the picture I think we are really hoping we can soon to get there.
I think I'm still I'm still working on that because I'm very much a solo show. I do everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Like I have 5 companies that I run single-handedly, successfully. But it's non-sustainable because when my estrogen leaves my brain, this will really get me. I need to choose one, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I will do one really well. So it's really, I'm kind of like milking my estrogen while I still have some to really get like this information that's unique to me. It's downloaded to get that out, to initiate as many different movements as I can.
The Gene Keys, actually, there is a pearl sequence about your business structure, your culture. That means your business is a system. So you need to initiate to build a system but then you are not running it, but you are the system owner. That would be the perfect thing if you allow that to play with it to see whether that will work for you in the long run, because that is indicated here, but not necessarily that is the path you will take. A different level, the individual partnership and the units, then you have the society and system. Because I am the society, so I can see myself and say, okay, so I am not a leader, because 1-3, not a leadership type. The 5 will be the leadership type. So 1-3, I perceive myself as a fundamental developer. But I think for manufacturers, even more of the front end pioneers, right? Because you need to kind of put
I think when no one else thinks, and they all go like, "Whoa, that's a bit out there," but it will wake people up. You know, I'm quite gregarious in a way. You know, I wake people up. It's just like, did you just say that? You know, it's just like, yep, I just said it. We say that in Scotland, she called a spade, you know.
Let me just show you the 4-point give. It just totally resonated with your story. Your life work is 38.1. Of course, 1 is the creator, the investigator energy, like me. So I'm always just go deeper and figure out the pieces and try to put them all make sense together. And by the 38, will start to feeling struggle in the low vibration first, because everything new, we will need to go to this. Struggling doesn't mean like very angry or something, but it's just not sure.
It's resistance.
Yeah.
It's resistance.
So you say,
because
I don't want to do that, but then you have to. So you will have a little struggle, but when the right moments, we have enough dose of the struggles, you're going to be turned out become a very resilient strength. So then you can be earn your honor, because you're doing that from the ground up and facing all the challenges, and you never let go, right? So then you can finally go to this honor, the city, the highest expression. The Gene Key has a 3 different level of the consciousness. When we are not aware, or we were born with the default, it's all the shadow, just like you said. We are actually didn't know we can just raise up so we can shrink our shadow, but we always see this big shadow because we sit right there. And the second is the gift frequency that create our openness. So our creativity start to flow out. We start to unleash the potentials we actually hold on to us. Never know.
Is it like the curiosity?
Yeah, so that everything become like a playfulness.
Like a humor and curiosity is totally, that's like humor and curiosity, where some people have rhyme and reason. I have humor and curiosity.
Yeah, it just I believe that when we are more relaxed and understand nothing gonna fail, this is just a game. Then you start to play like a kid and allowing, let the flow in and out. Don't hold on to money gonna be gone, which is changing hands all the time. So don't worry about it, they're coming back. So just have some fun playing the game. But doing that challenging and polish the skill, you go to the evolution. And your evolution is from this very like to trigger others, just want to make people triggered. That is your default. But then because you do that all the time, you have the dynamic. You are actually create energy flow, right? You do that, people start to, so you have this dance starter. If you just push a little bit, nothing is going to come back, right? So that's your specialty. But when you do that, actually, you also evolve yourself. So you become the highest, become the liberation. Because your energy need to be going somewhere. You know, you're an initiator. So when you say, go do this and nobody do anything, right? And then you will continue to do that. And the force need to have some kind of a dance with you. So eventually people will start to move, but then the moving, not because you actually release everybody's tension. So you liberate other people. And at the same time, you really care yourself, because that self-love and self-care is really part of the evolution. So your life work and evolution, you do a lot of challenges, and then you finally break through and go to your being side. That's your health, the radiant keys, and also your life purpose. So the radiant and the life purpose is more like a hidden, like subconscious level of energy force. But then you get in there, you actually feel your home. That's our home frequency. So
I'm home when I'm in Croatia on my balcony. I'm home. I know it. There's nothing. I feel like an airbender there. I feel like I should stand there and just play with the whole world. It's just, I can see all the way to Italy over the sea. It's turquoise. It's just like so good. And but I need to sustain that life, which I know I wouldn't starve on the top of the hill, because you know, the village, they like me because I helped them. I've helped them many, many times, and I never charged them. But I won't give you crutches. I would show you how to fish. And that's what I do with my menopausal women. They learn to taste the stream of light that they need to just like
so navigate. You're liberating them to the new life.
Yes. Because if I just tell them where to go, they need to kind of like hire me for the rest of their life. And then they become a dependent. And I have
the codependency is dangerous. Yes.
And they're very independent. I raise them independent. It's amazing.
That's so needed in today's world too. Like we give our authority to anything else, the government, the doctor, the school, but then we're not clear about, you know, we feel like we're victim. We just have to live with the system. So it's a system corrupted. We have no way to get out there. It's the kids the right way. Let them still have this authority. Don't give in, because they are young, but they are smarter. You know, they connect more. And the adult actually kind of dim their lights most of the time, right? They don't even know they have this powerful inner intuition, and they just depends on someone giving the remedies.
Enabling is so important.
Exactly.
Communication skills are so important, and social skills.
For you to stay healthy and radiant like you are today, I believe you know what to do. It is really just keep to nurture your wisdom, right? And you have all the different sources. So you become very resourceful, but your resourceful is offered to others, and also sharing, and also from your error and trial, because you are 1-3. 3 is the mutative energy. You want to try it all, and then you have the wisdom to share with others. This is the better way to do it when you're in that situation. So that can make you healthy. You need to offer guidance. You need to, even you are 1-3, but your guidance is from your own experience. Based on the information, we can always tweak it through our own choice, right? And that is from your 21.3. And the low vibe is you want to be in control. Like we all want it. We are human being. We cannot be out of control. We only want to live in that alignment. But sometimes the control is a limitation again, right? It's not really the good. The order doesn't mean it's better. We need to flow and dance and understand the order, the control, the boundary. But you have a chance to really seize that authority, because you are in the low, but yes, you are in the life's purpose. You want to control, because that's what you are doing now. You want to have everything under your hand, so you know what they are running and all stuff. You trust yourself. Then, but eventually, you will expand it out to the system. But then, through that, the authority, you become authority. Doesn't mean I say it right, you have to follow me. But the Manifestor really need to see that they have to be the leader type in a way, because they're initiative, right? So like if you finally get back to your authority, you are truly Manifestor. You should give an order, but the order is not like touching down order. It's just say show them the path. Then you just direct them the path they have to walk it, because you are the initiator. You're not supposed to walk with them. You just take them in hand. That might get too much burden for you. You would just kind of say,
there is no point. I can't piggyback anyone to happiness. Like I only have one back, and I'm not that strong.
That is definitely that's your calling, your purpose to lead people by using your authority, take initiative, using your wisdom by trying and error, let people to try get all knowledge through their practice. Then eventually your brain will back to that struggle, but the struggle is no struggle anymore. It's just the dance. Then you become an honorable person. And people remember you, all the guidance, all the share and the care. That's how I see your primary gift.
And it's really interesting. After husband one didn't work out, we just grew up. I met him really, really early, who I had the autistic child with, which was like, if you have additional needs parenting, it's hard on the relationship. And we have a great family of 4 adults now co-parenting. It's really good. It worked out wonderfully. So, but when I left him, he was a bit shallow, he's an actor kind of like character, but fun. I was told I can't have kids. Who do you marry, right? Someone that's fun. So he was perfect for that, but he wasn't really sustainable. So I wrote like a little line. I wrote poems that were downloaded. And the last line in the poem said, I'm looking for someone fuller. Right? And then people tell me that I'm too full of myself or something. I was like, I'm looking for someone that's even more full than I am, And now, my beloved, do you know what his last name is?
Fuller.
Yeah,
you
can't make it up,
definitely
right?
Attracting the right person, the right events, and all aligned with your profile.
Yeah, you can't make it up. And he's so my opposite. So there is no better growth than someone rubbing you the wrong way, and we grow together. We will learn to dance. And we're great dancers. We love dancing. And I think as long as that works, our dance with each other, we can handle everything.
Well, I really appreciate you today. We have a fun conversation. How people find you.
So when you feel you're ready to have a real shift, not just kind of like dabbling or group programs or anything like, I don't do any group programs. It's you and me. And we make sure that by the end of it, you have a real sense of your purpose. You love yourself. Your self-talk is completely transformed. And you have that commitment to you, to being you fully. When that's something that your soul's calling for, you can check out meltmystress.com. Meltmystress.com. And I would always recommend just book a little call. Of course, you can go through the website. There's far too much on there, right? There's blogs. I'm on Facebook. I'm on everything with Melt My Stress. You will find me. It's easy. But I'm really against generic advice and overwhelm. So I rather actually go with you on a call, a personal call for free. So, because this program isn't for everyone.
Such a good wisdom on this dialogue we have today. And hoping you enjoy today's show. And if you think that will work with you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and introduce your friend to listen to this channel. And of course, touch with Simona for that meltmystress.com. You can definitely see more insights about it. If you have anybody or you yourself want to be my guest, just let me know. I will drop the link below. Welcome to book a time. We can have a conversation like today. Just have some fun. You don't need to really into human design or gene keys. It's just the reflection tools. But we are the living genius, right? We need to live through our life. Everything depends on that momentary choice. When we choose something aligned with our energy and agree with our authority, that is the good choice. Let's have more fun playing game.
Wonderful. It was so delightful being with you on this show, and I would recommend it to anyone, and I will.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.